There's a great reservoir of talent here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the interesting thing. You come from New York, you come from L.A., and you say, well, you know, we're going to do this kind of seminar, and, you know, you'll see a bunch of people that really aren't very good. God knows what these scenes are going to be like. You know, God knows how boring the acting is going to be. And you come and you see this freshness, freshness of ideas, because they're not worried about selling it. It's just coming from their head and their heart. And then you see the freshness in their performances and the dedication. You know, this is you're seeing older people, not students, doing a college production,
Right.
who are eager, but you're seeing adults who have lives come to this with a great deal of eagerness and freshness and desire to express themselves. And a lot of these people could go to New York or LA and work. And that was the surprising thing for me, coming here the first time, is that you got actors here that of a caliber that could work in either metropolitan area.
Well, you know, you know my views on this is that I think it's very valuable, and that's why I keep coming back and trying to encourage my friends to come with me. One thing that happened though last night or over the weekend, one of your new actors was bemoaning the fact that he didn't, you know, he couldn't write. He kept saying, "Okay, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer." And David and I both took him aside and, you know, explained that it's not about turning out the perfect piece. It's about the process of writing. Teaches you a whole bunch of stuff about acting in an entirely different way than when you're analyzing somebody else's script. And I think he finally got that. And the bonus is you've actually turned out a number of really good writers.
That's the extraordinary thing. I was very impressed with several of the pieces that came out of this project. Very clever, very smart, very compelling. I found the idea of actors writing their own material to be a fresh approach. You know, I had studied in Herbert Berghoff Udahagen School. I had studied in college as well, and I never got we never had that process. I think it's fascinating for the actors to actually delve into the characters out of their own brain. Most of the time, we give the size to the actors when we do television or movies, so they do the piece. I think it would be good for actors to have monologues 1, 2, or 3, because in this day and age, because everything goes through computers or FedExes or over the internet, you know, there's so many ways to get information to people, so that I have seen actors, you know, in California who haven't gotten the sides and have used an audition piece, a monologue. And you could tell a great deal about, you know, the sensitivity, the maturity, the sophistication of their performance.
I always tell actors to have a monologue or two in their back pocket ready to go. Certainly in the theater, we do that. When we're auditioning for the summer theater, sometimes we do that and people come in and show what they have because it's something they've worked on. Yes, you want to see if they're right for the part, looking at the particular sides, but you also want to see what they do when they're really prepared. But also, I have, even in a TV audition, if you feel like there's some kind of a block happening, like usually in the callback, you might just, if you're creative enough, you go, okay, forget that. Let's just do a piece. I want to see what you do when you do what you do. So, what stuck in my mind this time around is that a lot of the writers really did some very unconventional things. I mean, you had three different writers who wrote period pieces. One from the 20s. You had a couple of 18th century where they really captured eloquently and accurately the language of 18th century. There were some historical pieces, and I think that is very ambitious, and they really followed through on it. So that was sort of memorable, because you're sitting here in a studio in Denver in 2009, and suddenly you're hearing a Shakespearean piece. In fact, the one piece, it was Shakespeare's wife, and it sounds, I'm saying it was Shakespeare, but it's written in that style, and that was very impressive and very surprising. And what's been interesting for me in coming back now for, what's it, 3 years, 3.5 years, is I've seen some people just get better and better, and some people are no longer here because they have gone to New York or LA, and they are in that talent pool. So for me, watching the whole process lead to where it's supposed to lead to has been interesting and gratifying. And the shame of it is there is this strong talent pool here, and because a lot of these people are adults with lives, they're not going to pick up stakes and move to New York or LA, and it's a shame that there isn't more production going on here in Denver, be it film, television, or even theater, which I know there is some, but not as vibrant as Chicago or either coast, or Minneapolis or Seattle or any of the cities we equate with theater. And that's too bad, because it's like this talent that's looking for a place to attach itself to and doesn't want to leave. And you certainly don't want to promote people leaving Denver. You want to promote people having a reason to stay here and bring other people like us in here. We talked a number of times about finding a way to produce something here, and it would be interesting for me to come and do that, to work with these people for more than a weekend, I guess. Right. And it should be noted also that one of the pieces, the last time I was here with Matthew Penn, we saw a piece by one of your writers, and then when I had a chance to produce a festival of one-act plays in New York with award-winning writers, David Mamet, Larry Gelbart, Eric Bogosian, all wrote pieces for that evening, and some pretty formidable actors like Peter Riegert, Dan Lauria, we brought that piece by that writer. The writer came, the actor came, the director, you, Peter, came, and it was in that same evening, and and there you go. So it's happening here. It's just it seems to be a well-kept secret for some reason.